First of all, let me share with you my personal journey to this stadium. I was born in China, and in 1960s and 70s in China, my father and mother are both university professors. And in 1960s and 70s, professors are pretty much paid at the same salary as the assembly workers. So I had a childhood life, very basic materially, but very rich spiritually. Now, there was one time when I was about 10 years old, and we only had 14 Chinese yuan left, 3 weeks before the payday. And 14 Chinese yuan was about $5. So my parents don't know what to do, and they said, "Hey, son, why don't you take charge?" So the little 10-year-old boy took the 14 yuan and immediately locked into a small safe. And my austerity: do not buy any clothes, no meat, and no vegetable, only rice. And of course, I succeeded to get ends meet. Now, but this is a family which told me about the importance of education and also the power of knowledge. I came to Canada in 1987 to complete my master's degree, and then went on to complete a PhD degree in material science from University of Toronto. And I started my career on solar cell research in Ontario Hydro, which is now OPG. And in 1998, Canada introduced its first climate change measures. So I'm fortunate to become one of the first group of scientists and industrialists to develop the commercial measures, commercial solutions to combat the climate change. And those experiences taught me how much solar can make an impact, right? And even if it's only at a very small scale. Now, at that time, we had a very small funding from Canadian International Development Agency, CIDA, to help China to use solar for rural electrifications. So we went to the small villages in Tibet, and we brought with us a very small product, a 10-watt, this big, 10-watt solar panel, a small 17 mAh battery, this big, and all built into one box, and just enough to power 2 light bulbs and 1 radio. However, I saw firsthand the huge impact such a small device can make to our villagers. And I can't help to think, right, how much solar can accomplish if only we can use it in a bigger scale. And that was in 2001. And at that time, I dared not to imagine solar as the primary energy source for the people worldwide, because solar was barely on the map, right? So I did what I can grab at that time, which is to start a small company and make the small solar panels. And the rest is history. In less than 10 years, Canadian Solar have grown to a 8,000 people company and a top 6 solar panel manufacturer in the world. So now let's look at the cost and affordability of fossil fuel versus renewables. And globally, we consume 6.5 billion tons of coal or coal equivalent each year. And this number is set to go up because the emerging economies such as China, India, Brazil, Russia, they're all urbanizing in a crazy, crazy speed. Just by coincidence, recently, BP, Exxon, and Shell all gave out a very sober view on the energy consumption and energy supply for the world. And in short, the prediction is that in 4 to 5 years, the easy-to-access oil and gas will start to fall short of the projected demand. And this is regardless whether there's unrest in Middle East or not. And this is only part of the story because roughly only half of the utility bill we pay is for the energy generation at the coal-firing or nuclear power plants hundreds kilometers away. And the other half is to build and run all these huge transmission towers and transmission lines in order to bring energy to our household. And this is inefficient. And later on, we will see that solar is different because solar can generate electricity on your rooftop. So there's little or no need for power transmission. Now, the cost of fossil fuel is more than just filling up our tanks or powering the houses. Now, for example, the BP oil spill. That one explosion on the deep water horizon killed 11 people and injured 17 others. And the total cost to the public is still untold, but just the cleanup and legal cost is on the way to reach 40 billion, right? And 206 million gallons of crude oil gashed into the Gulf of Mexico. Now, this is a bigger accident, Chernobyl. That one nuclear disaster had a cost well over $200 billion US. And I haven't even ventured into the kind of permanent negative impact to the climate because of a dependence on the fossil fuel. Now, another example. Each year, the air pollution and fires caused by the kerosene lamp is responsible for the deaths of thousands of people. And most of them are in Africa, where the sun is just abundant. So, what if we just look up for solutions? Now, more solar energy reach the Earth in 1 hour than energy we consume globally in 1 year. Now, everybody here agrees that solar energy and other renewables are good for the environment and also good for the future. And many governments around the world are giving out incentives for people to install the solar systems. Now, indeed, the solar and wind systems have a high upfront installation cost, just like the big coal-firing plant and the nuclear plant. However, these costs pay themselves off over time because the modern-day solar and wind system can last 20 to 30 years. And the cost is going down. Just one example, in the past 5 years, the global average selling price for the solar panel has gone down more than 60%. And meanwhile, Germany, for example, which is the largest solar market in the world, have seen their solar feed-in tariff, which is the fee the government pays for people to generate, to buy the electricity generated by the solar system. That solar feed-in tariff in Germany have dropped from over 50 cents euro per kilowatt hours to about 20. And at 20 cents per kilowatt hours, the solar feed-in tariff is at the same level of their retail utility rate. So the question is, how do we bring the cost of solar down in this country? Well, the answer is also simple. Number one, the scale of economy. Germany is installing 7-8 gigawatts of solars every year. Well, here in Ontario, we may be installing 300 megawatts this year. Second, the advance of battery technology so that you can store the extra energies. Because solar is intermittent, it can come in a big surge when the sun comes out. And number three, low-cost financing. People have to be able to buy the solar system using the mortgage loan, just like they buy their houses. And this is happening in many parts of the world. Now, just here in Ontario, the progressive government initiatives are encouraging the local content, and those policy initiatives have helped Canadian Solar to create up to 500 manufacturing and engineering jobs in this province. So, let's turn on the imagination. Amazingly, the electricity grid system we are seeing today is only 100 years old. And even 100 years ago, it was a toss-up between the distributed DC, which has Edison at the forefront, against the centralized AC system, which is invented by Tesla. Now, that famous war of current round one was won by the centralized AC, which is the system we are using today. And this is due to the scale of economy rather than the efficiency of the long-distance transmission. Actually, the long-distance power transmission is not efficient. Now, looking ahead, because the distributed DC technologies have advanced so much, right? And we are going to see a new structure emerging. And basically, I think we are seeing the same battle again. What is the new structure? Localized municipality grid, with the solar panels directly power the AC appliance, and the smart grid turns on the washing machine and other machines when the sun comes out. In a word, in the next, who knows, 5 years, 10 years, we might see the war of current round two, right? We might see this war of current refought. And this time, who knows, Edison might win. And just as Edison once said, discontent is the first necessity for progress, right? And if we let our environment continue to suffer such unsustainable pressures, and if the environment can speak, I think the environment will be the first one to voice its discontent. And on the other hand, we don't need to see winners or losers in the war of current round two, because I believe a better future is a balanced future. Fossil fuel, as long as it's clean fossil fuel, is still going to be an important part of our daily life and of our energy mix. And it is fortunate that these days, more and more conventional energy companies start to shift, and we are working together to create a sustainable and cleaner future. Now, back to the question of Africans, what do they do to replace the kerosene lamp? I think that question is simple. They don't have to fight this war of current anymore. Just go direct to build a localized township grid, and so that solar energy can be harnessed, stored, and enjoyed at the point of use. Now, I think this is totally uncharted water, and I don't know exactly how we are going to get there. However, I think at this moment, this is definitely an idea worth exploring and worth spreading. Thank you.